Hi, my name is Jessica Trinidad, and the purpose of this video is to discuss how I met my 8 clinical objectives for my Nursing 335 spring semester. My first objective was to utilize previous knowledge of the science, liberal arts, information, technologies, and nursing to help develop skills as a nurse leader. I feel like I met this objective in 3 different occasions. During my semester, I had signed up for Nursing 309 labs, in which I was able to help multiple students with their videotaping skills, such as making an occupied bed and helping toilet a patient while getting out of bed. I was also able to help Nursing 313 students with their skills checklists, and I did this in helping them identify abnormal lab values, also helping them identify the medications that patients were on and side effects to watch out for while on this medication. I feel like I was able to utilize the skills that were taught to me in order to help these students be more proficient in their skills. And hopefully they're able to pass these skills on to future nursing students. I also feel like I met this objective with the community leader, Doris Ferreira. I was able to utilize my Nursing 311 skills in order to take manual blood pressures. I was also able to utilize the knowledge from Nursing 331 in order to give health tips on diabetes prevention and hypertensive management in order to help the community better understand proper ways to stay healthy. Objective number 2 is to apply basic principles of management to meet the challenging of an ever-changing healthcare environment. I feel like I met this objective during my my nurse supervisory role with Heather Adams, who works from Lehigh Valley Hospital, Cedar Crest. She is a St. Luke's graduate and worked in the ER for 10 years, in which she eventually transitioned into her role as a nursing supervisor. She utilized her set skills in order to move forward, acknowledging and making herself self-aware that not only did she not have the competencies that all the other nurse supervisors had, she still, however, was able to accomplish certain tasks. For instance, if there was if they were low staff, or if the nurses needed extra help on the floor, she was able to step in and fulfill that role, which made her a very admirable leader, and I really acknowledge her for that. She has taught me a lot, and during my shadowing, she was able to help de-escalate a specific situation in which a gentleman was taking out his oxygen, and he was very combative and very angry. She helped comfort him, and with that being said, she was able to de-escalate the situation, and the patient's stats were starting to improve. As compared to the advanced practitioner, who has been set in their role, she was set in her role for at least 15 years. She had more of a foundation and managerial skills. Also, she was very valued by her staff, in which they were also went to her with any patient concerns or patient statuses. The advanced practitioner also took the time to communicate with patients and families in order to discuss issues that were going on and found ways to better help solve these issues. My objective number 3 was to demonstrate leadership skills through effective use of communication by representing the self, the college, and nursing in a professional manner. I feel I did this with when I was sending emails to the different nurse leaders. In addition, I was also calling some of the leaders in order to set specific dates and times that worked best with their schedule. I also feel that I was able to fulfill this objective by sending thank you notes and letting these nurse leaders know that I was grateful for their patience and their time and giving me the education and knowledge of what actually different nurse leader roles were all about. I also sent the thank you letters via email and through card. And also, I felt like I accomplished this by when I went out to the clinical sites, I was able to say who I was. I represented the college, saying I was from Cedar Crest College. And I also gave them a paper of my set goals for the day, in which they were very receptive. And each nurse leader that I had were very accommodating, and they were able to answer all my questions and able to help fulfill all my goals. For objective number 4, it was to critically evaluate and disseminate current research related to the principles of leadership and the effects on the healthcare system. I will be talking more about this in post-conference, but I had found an article based on an ethical leadership program for nursing unit managers. What this article is all in detail about is it evaluated the effects of an ethical leadership program of unit managers on job outcomes, and it examined staff's perceptions based on this particular program. The article acknowledged that healthcare delivery systems require ethics at all leadership levels, from politics to clinicians to administrators to executives, policymakers. What it encourages people to do is to adopt this ethical leadership program into their practice. And by doing this, they are increasing patient trust, respect, increasing patient outcomes, building on a health organization, and increasing nurse job satisfaction. I feel like this applies to healthcare in the sense that by not having an ethical foundation, patient outcomes are at risk. You don't have that patient-nurse relationship, and a lot of organizations can be affected by not applying ethics into their programs. With that being said, we will discuss more in post-conference. Objective 5 is functioning as a competent patient advocate, nurse advocate, and change agent. I feel that I accomplished this at Capitol Hill, where we were able to see the importance of advocating for nurses and understand the importance in advocating for nurses, not only for the nurses now, but for us as future nurses. Because if we really think about it, nurses are not represented on a legislative level at all. This is why it is so critically important for us to speak up and change the way nurses are represented in their professional careers. It is important that you advocate for yourself as a future nurse, because if you don't and there's no change, our future careers are definitely affected. You can get involved according to the State Nursing Association by getting out there and voting on your future legislator. Get out there and be heard, because if you don't make yourself heard and you don't advocate, you are not able to make changes in patients' lives and the nursing field, your job. I feel that we have the right to be heard and advocate for our patients and for the future of healthcare. I also feel that I fulfilled this objective with my clinical experience on Meals on Wheels. Meals on Wheels offers nourishment to the majority of the elderly population, and it also helps volunteers interact with a lot of these elderly patients. In addition, they are also getting their homes assessed for safety. During one of my deliveries, I was delivering to a 70-year-old female, and she normally got her food delivered to the back door. However, her front door was smashed. Her front door screen was pushed in, and her door was wide open. Now, this woman she's very confused, and we had asked her if she had knew that her front door was open, and she said no, that she was unaware. So me and the volunteer, we closed the door, and we immediately called the supervisor for Meals on Wheels, and she immediately called the emergency contact, which was the granddaughter. The granddaughter eventually came out and said everything was okay. She looked around and everything. But it's for programs like this that if we didn't have programs like this, who knows what would have happened to that patient. That patient could have fallen, could have gotten hurt, could have gotten severely sick. Objective number 6 is to formulate plans for continued personal leadership growth and development as an independent practitioner of nursing and contributing member of the society. I completed this objective with 4 continuing education throughout the semester and a CAPSIM. Some valuable information that I took home from some of the speakers from the continuing education was to continue my education and to continue to learn to advocate not only for myself but for patients and for families. Just as Donna Hurst, who lost her daughter to a medical error. During my CAPSIM, I learned about the different options that families in need have, or the different challenges that people who are in poverty face when trying to get options out there or trying to get help. It taught me a very, very valuable lesson that not every person is the same, and people who are in poverty have a lot of problems trying to get health care or trying to get help. And it is important for us to be their advocate or to find different ways in order to help them, especially with this ever-changing economy. Objective number 7 is to recognize the role of the nurse in policy making related to healthcare services at local, state, national, and global levels. Again, I feel like I fulfilled this at Capitol Hill, where we as nurses need to recognize that if we want change, we definitely need to speak out. On Capitol Hill Day, I had researched a bill regarding delegation, and I was able to speak to a representative regarding how I feel about delegation, in which I feel like it not only will improve patient satisfaction, but it will help decrease nurse burnout, and it will give more time for more one-on-one time with the patient and the nurse. The representative was very receptive to my concerns and took down my name and my email and was very thankful for everything that I contributed. Objective number 8 was to predict and describe potential ethical dilemmas within clinical, organizational, and professional nursing practice. I feel I fulfilled this objective based on the provision of 3.1 of the ANA Code of Ethics 3.1. The nurse seeks to protect the health, safety, and the rights of the patient. Based on patient safety and confidentiality and HIPAA, there was a specific patient that was in for a victim's crime and had severe head trauma and was unable to speak. The mom had called and wanted all the information regarding her son, the room number, the condition, and at this time I was with my nurse supervisor leader, and she was very concerned and stated to the mother that we were unable to give that information. The mother was very upset. However, she explained that they were currently working with the son, and when the son was done, she would have him call and let her know that everything would be okay. It is important not to break HIPAA laws, especially when giving patient information, especially if it's when patient confidentiality takes its place. It becomes an ethical dilemma, and it's because of things like this that laws get broken and people are affected. I want to take the time to say thank you. I hope you enjoyed learning about my experiences, and thank you for your time.